So we are starting in the Gospels. I believe, I mean, depends on if Mo gets tired of this at some point. But me, honestly, if once we're rolling, we're rolling. So our first season is we're gonna just do the Gospels. So the first season we're just gonna do Matthew because it's gonna take us a little bit we don't want to rush through it. We want to really dive deep. So we're starting in Matthew because it's the first one. And we're starting in the Gospels because it tells the story of Jesus. So if we really want to know what Jesus said, why we're Christians, because we're Christians because we believe in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Let's just start with Jesus. We will also show where Jesus in the New Testament relates to the Old Testament so that we can see how everything is connected, because that's when it gets cool.
But I also feel like, because I feel like there have been several times throughout my life where I've tried to read the Bible, like, oh, let's read the Bible in a year, January 1st. I'm in it.
Yeah.
But then I feel like a lot of times that connection between New Testament or Old Testament, or like there's just some background information that you just don't know if you just start somewhere. It doesn't matter where you start. There's always like, so you kind of got to read. I feel like you got to read it twice, because you got to read it to get all the information, and then you got to read it again to like put it back and connect different things.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. I read the whole thing just once, just like, okay, let me just get through it. I was taking notes and stuff. I was going deep, but I think, and I also say, don't put a time limit on trying to read the Bible, because reading it in a year, I didn't even see one that it was like in a month. Man, please, like you will get burnt out so quick. Like just read, just start, and when you finish, you finish. Like just go from there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I do think it just helps to, I don't know. I was doing like little Bible plans to help me with to just make it fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so wait, do we have anything else? It connects to the Old Testament. Okay. I'm going to give us a little background on Matthew, just so we prepare for our next episode. Next episode, we're going to read Matthew 1 and 2. And then it prepares you for the rest of the season, just knowing, I believe when you read the Bible, I like to know the context first. I don't know. I guess I just keep saying it makes it fun, but to me, it just makes it more, I understand it more. And when you understand it, you want to read it more. So knowing who the author is of any book of the Bible, to me, I like that. Knowing when it was written, because I don't know, that's just interesting. Like he wrote this way after, not way after, but he didn't write this like the day after Jesus died. Like it's been a while. He's been like in hiding. I don't know if y'all knew that the disciples had to go into hiding because people were like killing them. Who the audience originally was, because I think we tend to think that the Bible was written directly to us. And I hate to burst our main character bubble, but it's not about you per se, but you can use it for your life. It will be you. It's great for your life, but it's not written to you initially. The reason why it was written and the theme. So as far as Matthew, let me look at my little handy notes here. There are some critical scholars actually that deny that Matthew is the author, but there are also some that say he is. The claim that he is not the author is because the version of Matthew we have is in Greek, right? But they say it was originally written in Hebrew. But some people feel like the Greek translation does not look like it could have come from Hebrew. So it's just a little debate. They don't know. They don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. They don't even know. So we're just going to say it's Matthew. Matthew was a disciple, and he was a former tax collector. Little background there, as far as people always mentioning that he was a tax collector, because tax collectors were like, what would a tax collector be in modern day society? Like a hated occupation that people like
an auditor?
Yes, nobody likes the auditor. Nobody. But even worse, because it was like he was like basically he was a tax collector for the Roman government, and so his people, the Jewish people, felt like he was going against them because you're helping them tax us. And so he was hated basically by his community. So when he was taken in by Jesus, it was a big deal. He wrote this gospel, it said around AD 50 to 55. So that's like 50 years after Jesus died, essentially, right? Because when did Jesus die? He had to die before AD, right? Because AD is after death. Yeah. So he wrote it quite a while after. He probably was an old man hiding in a cave somewhere. You really got to watch the show The Chosen, bro. You have to.
I am.
It's on, I think the first seasons are on Netflix. I mean, this is the thing. The Chosen is not a historical fact, but I just love how it's like it could have been happening. Like, we don't have any of that in the Bible to know, you know?
The thing is, you told me to watch that, and then right at that same time was when everybody started talking about Paradise on Hulu. So
I started watching that last night,
I
actually.
started Paradise on Hulu instead of The Chosen. I gotta get back on
It's
track.
okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because Paradise is, I'm not going into that right now. We may talk about that next week during our icebreaker, but because woo, that's my mind. Anyway, they say that he most likely wrote this from Antioch, but I forgot to look up where Antioch would be on my little Bible map app. I sent you that last night, but I didn't look at it. So just, if you're listening, if you can find out where that is and then it means something to you, go look it up. The original audience of Matthew is mostly Jewish people. The content is very heavily focused on Jesus being the Messiah, the King of the Jews. So I feel like, well, we'll go into the reason. The reason he wrote it, trying to show the Jewish people that Jesus was the Messiah that they had been waiting for. So basically, I feel like my understanding is even after Jesus rose from the dead, there were still Jewish people who were like, nah, like, we don't believe it yet. They're still not Christians. So he's writing to them like, hey, I know you've been waiting for the Messiah. He didn't show up the way you thought he was going to show up, but this is the guy. And he shows it through the fulfillment of prophecy that we're going to talk about a lot for next week. So
yeah, I didn't know that actually. I actually really like that you did that, because now, having read some of the stuff that I read, I was like, yeah, that is an ongoing theme throughout. Like, that actually does fit the reason. So yeah, we'll definitely probably refer back to that several times throughout the next few episodes.
Yeah. But so you see how, like, just doing, and we're going to do that probably for every book. So we already did that for Matthew.
Yeah.
We'll go through Matthew. But when we get to Mark, we'll do the same thing. Just because to me, it just gives me more of a setup for when I'm reading.
It does. Now that you said it, I'm like, oh, I wish I had known that before I read it. I would have read it kind of in a different tone, I guess.
Yes. And I got things from a Bible study. I don't know if they still sell them. They probably do, because why would you stop selling something that's good? But I have this Bible study book. It is actually called The Bible Study. And they have
I have them.
You have it?
Yes,
well, you have this information at your fingertips.
Again, every year I say I'm going to read the whole Bible. I have like 7 different things, and none of them have been completed.
Okay. If you have the books, that information is in the books. But also, if you have the Bible app, they have a Bible plan to read the Bible on. They have a Bible plan on the Bible app.
Yeah.
And that information I just read is also in there. And I definitely recommend those because, I don't know, I love them. It was like adult workbooks, it was like I was giving myself adult vacation Bible school. That's how
actually, you know why I stopped? Yes. I stopped because I wanted to be able to discuss it with someone, and I couldn't get it right doing it by myself. And so I ended up just putting it down. But
we can totally do that. Honestly, we can just use those for prompts for the show.
We should. I gotta go find mine, because that was like a few years ago.
Mine are on my shelf right here. I think I filled out some, but actually, you know what? I don't know if I ever filled out my New Testament ones, because I was doing them a lot in the Old Testament, and then I kind of fell off. But I was still reading the Bible, but I wasn't necessarily doing the workbook. So I think that's a great idea. Find them.
Yeah.
Find them. Okay.